I came up to the gates and looked at my new house. My uncle was walking ahead and dragging my suitcase behind him. My aunt was standing on the porch and waving at us. Hello, new life. Hello to you too. I'm Diana. You are looking at a girl that had already changed 5 schools by the time she was 16. Dad called me a pain, and Mom a menace. To be honest, they were right. My behavior had always been far from ideal. If you get into trouble at the new school again, we'll send you to a military camp. Got it? Oops. The threat worked. I did not want to go to military camp and tried to behave. At the end of the summer, my parents sent me away with some relatives in another city. They hoped that I would come to my senses and stop causing trouble. What came of it? Well, at dinner, my uncle and aunt looked at me warily. They knew about my past shenanigans and were afraid that I would start causing trouble again. But that night, I was a good girl. Unfortunately, that only lasted one evening. The next day, I was lounging on a sunbed by the pool. It was so boring, I thought I would go crazy. That was when I suddenly noticed our neighbor mowing the lawn. By the way, his yard looked really cool. There were neat paths and bushes shaped like animals in it. It was so perfect it made me mad. After the neighbor had disappeared into his house, I got an idea. What if I changed his yard a little? I took a pair of garden scissors and started cutting the bushes. In my opinion, the result looked cool. What do you think? Spoiler, the neighbor did not appreciate my creativity. I left and walked around our yard, pleased with myself. My aunt and uncle looked at me suspiciously. Have you done something again? Of course not. I was sunbathing when the neighbor came out of his house, wearing a business suit. At that moment, a car drove up to his gate, and some people got out of it. 2 of them were carrying cameras. I overheard their conversation and realized that the neighbor was taking part in a contest for the best lawn. And those people were judges. When he saw my handiwork, he almost fainted. The judges weren't impressed. My uncle and aunt looked at me again, but I pretended I had nothing to do with it. Did you know that our neighbor was the principal of your new school? What a turn. At first I was scared, but then I relaxed. It wasn't like he would ever find out who had done that to his bushes. In the evening, he suddenly showed up at our house. While he was talking to my relatives, I was listening at the door. Your niece ruined my lawn. There are cameras in my yard, so I have proof. Damn it, I hadn't thought about that. He would definitely turn my life at school into living hell. But then I came up with a crazy little plan. I walked into the living room and pretended to be a little girl. I'm sorry, I just wanted to play. I won't do it again, honest. Next time, stay at home and play with dolls instead of destroying someone else's property. I tried to look innocent and pitiful. Wow, he really believed I was a child. My uncle and aunt were so surprised they were left speechless. You will have to pay for the damages. Taking care of those bushes cost me a lot of money. My uncle gave him the money. After the principal had left, he and my aunt looked at me surprised. What on earth was that? I was just saving the day. Obviously, he would demand less money from a child. Soon the holidays ended and I went to school. By the way, do you like my new look? Do you think I had grown taller in just a few days? Of course not. It was all part of my plan. I had a hobby. I loved motorsport and driving. I was too short to reach the pedals, so I had to order special shoe pads. Cool boots, right? I hid them under my loose long trousers and went to school. It was all so the principal wouldn't recognize me. I regretted coming on foot 1,000 times on the way there. Walking in such shoes was a real torment. As soon as I walked into the school, I ran into some girl. She immediately lost her balance and dropped the folder she was holding. As a result, all 3 of us fell down. Me, the girl, and the folder. The documents scattered all over the floor. Several papers even flew out the window. Why are you just sitting there, you clumsy girl? Let's go outside, we need to hurry. The principal needs that folder. Yeah, right. Like I was about to run in heels. Especially to the principal's office. As a result, the girl had to gather the documents herself. I got to my feet and went to class. At some point, that girl came into the classroom with the principal. She immediately pointed at me. It's her fault I lost the most important document. When the principal saw me, his face turned red. It's you again? I got up from my seat so that he could see my height. I don't know what you're talking about. The principal looked me up and down in shock and called me into the hallway. You look a lot like the girl who ruined my lawn recently, except you're taller. Oh, so you're our neighbor. I wasn't at home when my younger sister did it. I'm sorry for what happened, and for the documents too. Those are very important documents. As punishment, you will stay for extra classes every day after school. What? It wasn't fair. I had apologized, and it wasn't like I had run into that girl on purpose. The principal didn't even want to listen to my objections. He pissed me off, and I decided to get my revenge. The next day, new garden decorations were delivered to the principal's place. He was going to replace the damaged bushes with marble sculptures. While the movers and the principal were distracted, I quickly got closer to them. I painted all over the sculptures, wrote some dirty words on them, and rushed back home. My aunt and uncle were still at work. A few minutes later, there was a knock on the door. I quickly put on my boots and long skirt and opened it. "Look at what your sister has done again. Where is that little demon?" "I don't know. What makes you think it was her anyway?" The principal grabbed my arm and dragged me to watch the security footage. This time, I had been more careful and hadn't got caught. The principal was furious, but he could not prove anything. That was close. A couple of days later, I had a gym class. Everyone would have seen my heels there, so I had to get a fake doctor's note saying I shouldn't do anything strenuous. I have a doctor's note. At least do a warm-up. I didn't even bring any gym clothes. It doesn't matter, you don't have to change. Damn it, I had to bend down, swing my arms, and even do squats. You can't imagine how hard that is to do while wearing heels. The girl I'd run into back then was called Roxy. She was our class president, and now she was making sure I wasn't slacking off. "You should at least take your shoes off." All of a sudden, the principal walked into the gym. He immediately noticed me and turned to the gym teacher. "Why are you dressed like that?" "She has a doctor's note." The principal asked me to take a look at it, and I realized it could end badly. I pretended to feel sick and leaned my shoulder against the wall. Guess I'm a good actress because everyone believed me. The gym teacher immediately told me to go sit on the bench, and no one bothered me anymore. I was supposed to go to extra classes after school, but then I suddenly got a call from my motorsport coach. "Our schedule has changed. Could you come an hour earlier?" Yeah, sure. I won't miss it for anything. I skipped the classes and went to the racetrack. After I did a few laps, the coach suddenly called me aside and introduced me to some new girl. "We have a newbie. She's here for the first time, so she isn't allowed to drive yet. Will you take her for a ride?" "Yeah, easy." We got in the car and I took off. The girl was wearing a racing suit and helmet. Strangely enough, she seemed familiar to me. She mostly stayed silent, and when she did speak, her voice was distorted by the helmet. As soon as we got out of the car, she quickly left. It was kind of weird. We hadn't even really introduced ourselves. Things were fine the next day. No one even noticed that I'd skipped the extra classes. During a break, I went to the dining room to have a snack, and I was sitting down at a table. A classmate of mine was passing by. She suddenly stumbled and her food fell on top of me. Damn it, my clothes were ruined. "Oh, Diana, I'm so sorry. There's a laundry room at school. You could wash your clothes there." It wasn't like I had a choice, so I went to that laundry room. I locked the door just in case and only took off my skirt. I always wore shorts underneath it. While I was washing the stains off, I heard a strange sound behind me. I turned to the window and couldn't believe my eyes. The classmate who dropped food on my dress was staring at me through it, and next to her was Roxy. They were laughing, pointing at me with their fingers, and taking pictures. Damn it. "Hey Diana, do you want to become a school celebrity?" They sent my pictures to all the students. Soon enough, a crowd gathered outside the laundry room. It was buzzing and waiting for me to come out. At first, I panicked. How had they figured it out? Or had they just wanted to make fun of me and accidentally found out the secret about my height? I got angry. Whatever, I could take care of myself. I pulled the door open and stormed out. Everyone immediately started shouting and whistling. "Just look at her, such a shorty in dumb shoes." I was pushing through the crowd when suddenly I heard Roxy's voice. "Just imagine, that runt likes motorsports." "Oh, come off it. How do you know that?" The principal asked me to make sure Diana came to the extra classes. I accidentally overheard her conversation on the phone yesterday. She was talking to some coach and I got curious. Instead of stopping her, I decided to follow her and saw her come to a racetrack. I decided to go for a ride too and changed into a racing suit. I had suspicions about Diana for a while. She kept wobbling and refused to do anything during the gym class. And then I saw a racer in weird boots on the track. At first I wasn't sure if it was Diana, but today, I asked my friend to drop food on her clothes and suspicions were confirmed. That jerk. I felt awful but tried not to show it and walked with my head held high. The principal suddenly appeared in the hallway. I wanted to hide, but there was nowhere to run. When he saw me, he immediately understood everything. "So it's you after all. Go to my office right now." He called my aunt and uncle to the school. "Not only did your niece destroy my property twice, but she has also lied to everyone at school and pretended to be someone else." "Why twice? I didn't do anything to your sculptures." "Don't you dare lie. Our neighbor saw you and told me everything today." Oops, what a mess. When we got home, my uncle called my parents. At first, he complained about my behavior and then handed the phone to me. "We warned you. We will arrive soon, pick you up, and send you to a military camp." My life turned into a real nightmare. I didn't want to go to that damn camp, but I didn't know what to do. Things at school got worse too. Everyone was making fun of me. It really hurt me, although I pretended not to care. And then something happened. The principal announced the start of inter-school competitions. Students were supposed to complete strange tasks and get points for it. The competition was going to be broadcast online. A popular rock band would perform at the school that won. It was a cool motivation, and many students decided to participate. I wasn't going to take part in it, but the principal made me. You will defend the honor of the school and make up for your past behavior. The tasks at the competitions were really weird. There were no quizzes and tests. First, we had a burger speed eating competition, and then we had to pass an obstacle course. Moreover, the obstacles were unusual as well. Just look at them. During the third round, we had to conquer the pool. Nobody was afraid of swimming, but there were insects in the pool. Ugh, it was disgusting. At first, I wasn't trying very hard, but at some point I decided to win. I would show them all what I was capable of. A racing competition was announced. Each school had to choose one person to represent them. They were supposed to drive along the highway on small, almost children's cars and not knock anything down. I immediately raised my hand. Let me participate. I'm good at driving. The team discussed it. Some hesitated, but in the end, they decided to choose me. Thanks to my height, sitting in a small car was comfortable for me. While my rivals were crouching in uncomfortable poses, I quickly overtook them. I bypassed all the obstacles and went around the corners sideways. No wonder I finished first. You are a real racer. Wow, I didn't even expect. They even patted me on the shoulder. Roxy was the only one who simply snorted. The last task turned out to be the most unusual one. As many students as possible should get into the phone booth to win. We heard the signal and rushed to the phone booths. We were neck and neck with other teams. There seemed to be no room left in our booth at all, but I still managed to squeeze into it. Cheers for my low height! The host announced the results and we won! We were 1 point ahead of the other teams. All thanks to me. The team picked me up and cheered. Even Roxy was delighted. She was a fan of the band that would now come to perform at our school dance. At home, I was greeted by a happy uncle and aunt. We saw the live broadcast. You did great! Their words and the team's gratefulness inspired me. I wanted to do something good for my classmates. The opportunity presented itself very soon. A few days later, we found out we would have to take a math test. No one was prepared for it, and everyone panicked, even the straight-A student Roxy. When I came into the teacher's room, the answers were lying on the table, but I didn't have the time to look at them. I suddenly got another crazy idea. Leave that to me. I went into the bathroom, climbed into the vents, crawled to the teacher's room, and took a picture of the answers and sent it to my classmates. Our class got excellent scores, and finally I became a school hero. After class, Roxy came up to me. I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong. I shouldn't have made fun of you, especially because of your height. You're really cool. I can't imagine how hard walking in such heels must be. Soon the day of the school dance came. It was really cool. Everyone was listening to the performance of the rock band and going wild. When the concert was almost over, I suddenly saw my parents in the hall. Damn it, when have they arrived? You've tried our patience long enough. You're going to military camp. Your uncle tried to speak up for you, but we're tired of your antics. At that moment, something completely unexpected happened. We won't let Diana go. Of course we won't let her go. She's our little star. Do you know how cool she was at the competition? Yes. Diana has improved recently. She did well at the competition, nailed the math test. What about your lawn? One of the judges called me this morning. Just imagine, I won the contest, and all thanks to your daughter. The jury decided that all the lawns looked the same, while mine was unique. Wow, I couldn't believe my ears. My parents looked shocked. Before they could say anything, I took them aside to talk. I wanted to do it for a long time, but hadn't dared. I'm sorry for how I acted. In elementary school, my classmates bullied me because of my height. I never told you. I cried a lot and felt really insecure. And then I became a troublemaker so that no one could hurt me again. It was probably a defense mechanism. Mom suddenly burst into tears and hugged me tightly. Dad joined us. They allowed me to stay and not go to military camp. Everyone at school likes me now. I still use how short I am to sometimes prank people, except now my pranks are harmless. There are many advantages to being short, and I accept myself as I am. Are any of you short? Write in the comments down below. Let's see how many of us are out there. Hey squad! Like to see your life in comics? Stories that are so embarrassing that even friends do not know about them. Don't say you don't have such ones. They belong on the Anon Please channel. Check it out! Click here.